Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Duke Silver. Today we are going to be playing Peter Pants, and yeah, I got nothing to say beforehand, so let's just jump into it. We're going to start with a Wizard's Familiar. Because we have a Genie's Wish in the shop, we want to be able to cast that first. Generally you want to take a 3 on 2.1 with Pants, but I figured getting we want to start scaling the Wizard's Familiar anyways, and I think at level 3, Genie's Wish is very, very valuable because you can hit XP spells, which I guess isn't all that relevant on Peter Pants, but getting to those extra shop buffs can actually matter, and it actually does add up quite a bit when you consider like the amount of stats you get from tripling your shop units that have extra stats. So that's what we're gonna do here. I mean, that was kind of my logic there. And we ended up being able to, we got a 3 for free as well as a baby dragon for that shop, so things worked out extremely well anyways. And then we get a couple of mice here, as well as we get to lock another Wizard's Familiar. Now we only have one level 3 character, which is a little bit awkward, but the volume of characters that we've been able to buy, and there are definitely level 2 treasures that we're very interested in, like Big Book of Spells or Boiling Beaker make a very, very good replacement for Forking Rod, so we don't necessarily have to dig for Forking Rod. Although we do have the two mice already that we could potentially get Forking Rod from. But yeah, it just gives us a lot of lines on ways to kind of finish our natural end game here. Anyways, yeah, we went for the Billy Gruff over the Lonely Prince. Lonely Prince is better longer term. We're probably gonna buy a Royal at some point anyways, but I figured having more stats on board this turn would potentially allow us to get the win for the Make-A-Wish we got from our Genie's Wish. But we didn't get there, unfortunately, but I figured it was worth the attempt anyways. Alright, and here we're gonna pick up a Princess White, which is one that I really like picking up on Peter Pan specifically early. Just because, I mean, we're obviously going to see a lot more doublies than normal, and with those shop stats, again, like those shop stats, once you combine them, especially with the extra shop stats from the Princess White, like they add up very, very quickly, and you can make some very, very large dwarves with Princess White, in addition to it also being a very, very good avenue for a level 3 treasure, which we are very interested in. And here's kind of the secondary thing. I mean, it might not even be secondary. They might be pretty equal value, but Lucky is very, very good on Peter Pan, especially if it's got relevant stats, which like a 7/6 right now is pretty relevant here. Also, we find our triple for the mouse this turn, which is great. Unfortunately, no Forking Rod here, so we're going to take Gloves of Thieving. We're just going to snap that off. Gloves of Thieving, I think, is very, very good with Peter Pan, just because you get to steal a bunch of characters that you don't necessarily have a lot of access to. Like if we can steal like Medusas or Friendly Spirits or things like that, then that becomes very valuable. But yeah, again, I'll get back to the Lucky thing. Just the econ you get from Luckies is very reliable, and so if you can get away with playing them on your board for as long as possible, then they can generate a lot of value. We get to pick up another Lucky here, furthering our Princess White quest as well. We're gonna fire off a shard onto our Princess Peep there, since the summons aren't really giving us much value at this point. And then we find a triple for this creeper that we took earlier. Unfortunately, no Hatterball here, but I mean, Sarcophagus is always a very good tempo treasure, but since we only have a couple of evil characters, I think we're just going to go with Ring of Thunder. It's just going to give us some stats on board. It's not incredible or anything, but I mean, it takes a treasure out of the pool and its stats. We're also going to lock a TLK here. We're just going to plan on TLKing one of our golden 3s. Now, I think we only have the one golden 3 in the Darkwood Creeper, but we are going to go for that. Since Creeper has some extra stats on it as well, then there's a potential that this could turn into something that uses the stats a lot better than the Creeper. Like a Friendly Spirit, potentially, for Feasting Dragon would be pretty incredible. Alright, it's Time Flies. It's a 12/9 Time Flies. Like, it could be worse. It's basically an 8th unit on board. It's still tempo. It's not the greatest, but we're not gonna send it back or anything. And also we can TLK it again at some point. I was just considering selling this egg for the Romeo just to start getting more 3s going, but we've got a couple pairs already. Oh, we've got a couple pairs already, and then we add another one with this Vampire pair. So rather than start a new pair of 3s, I figured it's better to just roll there. We pass by a couple pairs, and then we get rewarded by rolling a shop with 2 mummies instead of just the one. So that's going to be a level another level 3 treasure for us. Unfortunately, these donkeys produce quite a bit of stats here. Also worth noting that Cursed King has a Pandora's box already, and I think it's just like, it's 4.0 right now, I believe. Or maybe it's 5.0. No, it's 5.0. Okay, we're past level 4, so like it's not that crazy. I thought it was a little bit more wild than it was, but here's treasure map is always tempting, but I mean we just need to keep taking 3s out of the pool, and treasure map really slows you down in that. Like we don't really want to burn a treasure map on a level 5, which we would end up having to in general. Treasure map, I think you don't want to take until after you've already assembled your hat ball. There's another level 3 treasure to go with our or after we took the fancy pants out of the pool. We took the doubly first, of course, putting the fancy pants buff there, and then tripled it just so we could get those extra stats on board. And yeah, we did find hat, so that's one piece of the puzzle here. We're gonna cast this candy cannon, and we're gonna lock for this spellweaver. There's nothing that I can sell. I can't sell 2 things for this spellweaver in an efficient way. So yeah, we're just gonna lock it till next turn. We are gonna lose a gold, unfortunately, but I think it's worth it rather than selling down a couple pieces that could end up being important. All right, we get a free cat here. We're gonna take the spellweaver first, though. I mean, we got to get the fancy pants buff on the spellweaver, I think. And now we have to figure out what to sell. Unfortunately, everything here is pretty valuable, so we're actually gonna get rid of this 11-3 Ogre Princess, which seems a bit weird, but I think in the name of econ, we got to do it. We've got some other pretty high value characters here. Speaking of which, we get to TLK our time flies into a golden Tweedle, which is a huge upgrade in stats, and then we're gonna take a tiny, finishing our Princess White quest. We're gonna replace Fancy Pants with a Deep Stone Mine, and then we get another level 3 treasure this turn. And guess what? It's Crystal Ball. So we're gonna replace that Deep Stone Mine immediately after taking it, and we're gonna lock this. Targeted spell. We were gonna take the Ogre Princess here, but I figured I should take the tree just so we've got a tree. And now we've got 2 empty slots plus a targeted spell for next turn. So next turn we can really start to do some things. A little bit unfortunate that we never tripled our 2 Wizard's Familiars that we got super early, but I mean we'll find one eventually. We'll find that triple eventually, I assume, or maybe we won't. But anyways, we get a free Polywoggle here, so we're gonna sell out of this Ogre Princess we got from the Gloves of Thieving, I believe, and then yeah, we're just gonna start casting as many spells as we can. Obviously, without any way to get extra spells in our shop. Like it's a little bit slow going. Like Hat Ball by itself is generally just not enough. On Pants, it sometimes can be, just because you get to see more TLKs, and then you can actually build a comp out of TLKs. But I mean, we have to see a pretty high volume of them to actually get to that point. There we go. There's that triple for the Wizard's Familiar. See, we just had to have faith in it. Unfortunately, none of the treasures that we wanted. We wanted Big Book of Spells. We wanted a Boiling Beaker. Either one of those would have gone a long way. We go for a TLK on this Golden Tweedle, and we get a huge downgrade, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, we're gonna lock this shop that has another Spellweaver in it. That's definitely the way that we're gonna win, is by scaling these Spellweavers and winning through range damage. We do still need to find a way to kind of put our spell cast over the top. We're still winning. We still have decent tempo. We still got a decent size board, but yeah, just casting a couple spells a turn with just base Hat Ball is just not going to be enough, and we need to supplement it with something that's going to put us over the top here. We did steal a golden Heartwood Guardian, which we're going to throw behind this Echo Wood and put some stats onto it. It's definitely not the greatest thing, but it's better than what we have anyhow. We get to triple our our Spellweaver, and yeah, now we're going to take the treasure map. Now that we're a lot more picky as what we get from the Gloves of Thieving, and also we had the pair of mice in the shop, and we immediately find that triple and get a level 6 treasure. Unfortunately, we wanted Wand real bad. A Pandora's box would have been pretty cool as well, but yeah, we're gonna take a Mimic, and we're gonna hope that a Mimic is gonna be enough. But essentially just giving us a second Crystal Ball. Like, the extra spell cost reduction from Mimic Hat doesn't really do anything. But the fact that we're seeing 2 spells per cast now is actually going to matter a lot. That's going to give us, again, more access to TLKs. It's going to give us just more access to spells in general and allow us to kind of keep the chain going. You do need a little bit more APM for this specific setup, but yeah, we've got that covered. We're not too worried about it. Unfortunately, we cast a lot of spells before buying this Spellweaver, which is just a straight mistake. I wasn't sure if I was going to buy it or not, but I realized that I only had 1 range character, and yeah, I definitely needed to get at least 1 more Spellweaver triple here if we can. And fortunately, we've got a Beauty's Influenced evil character now, so we can just cast Shard on that character infinite times. As it'll always be good, it'll just keep transforming into a good version of an evil character. Alright, and there's a shop full of cut purses, which, I mean, we don't actually care about, but it's there, just to note it. And yeah, remember that Cursed King with Pandora's Box? Looks like they got Mirror, and they're setting up a Mirror Medusa comp here, which is could be problematic for us. Fortunately, the characters on the right half of their board are not nearly as good as Mirrors, or as Medusas, sorry. So we do end up winning that fight on the back of the weaker part of their comp being just the non-Medusa units. We maybe should have bought that chicken first, but unfortunately we did not, and it didn't really matter because we didn't get another targeted spell anyhow. And we're gonna cast a TLK on this Echo Wood, since the Echo Wood's not doing anything, and I mean we just need to replace it with another level 6 character. And we get a pumpkin, which is a decent hit. It's not great, but it's decent. It's got a lot of stats on it, and it replaces itself with a 5. We've got one other evil character on board right now. All right, we're gonna sell down and get this other Spellweaver, which gives us a couple gold that we can cast some spells with after rolling. And unfortunately, we were a little bit too slow there. We weren't able to lock another targeted spell, but we do get a monster book from this shard, and then our pumpkin gets taken out first, summoning Aeon, which gets summoned before the monster book goes off, giving us a little bit of extra scaling with the Aeon in play. I mean, the spells are irrelevant with Peter Pants, because like you're not gonna roll into any good combat spells at level 3. But yeah, again, we got a little bit of extra scaling, a little bit of extra attack on our Wizard's Familiars, which is kind of nice. Just a nice little bit of upside. But yeah, now we really need to start putting together these TLKs. We're doing quite well. Everyone else on the lobby is at 1 health basically, so like we're definitely not in danger of dying next turn, but we do need to assemble some kind of semblance of a comp here. We've got 2 big range characters, but that probably won't be enough. The pumpkin isn't really that relevant. It's got an okay amount of stats, and it replaces itself with a 5 anyways. All right, and there's a pretty big sleigh comp. They only get 1 sleigh though, fortunately for us, which means Yorm is still a manageable size. And yeah, we managed to take down Yorm there before it gobbles up our entire board. We get to triple another Wizard's Familiar. Again, no 2 treasures for us. We would still have taken a big book or a Boiling Beaker there, probably. I think that's probably better than the Mimic Crystal Ball. We're gonna start TLKing our smaller units. I figured I'd just leave the Bearstein there for a shard. And we do find a shard, and it turns it into an Ashwood, which is fantastic. And now we get to shard this Juliet into a pretty large Southern Siren, and we're just going to continue sharding that Beauty's Influenced evil character. Now it's a Cupid. Cupid can be okay, but I'm not a fan of Cupid in general, personally. Like there's spots where Cupid can do some really crazy things, but in general, I think it ends up being just pretty weak. We're just gonna throw down a Kidnap before our timer runs out, and here we go. It's we're heads up against the MirrorScam player. Looks like they have added some trees to their board. They've got a golden Burnbeard in the back there with an Ashwood up front and a a rotten apple tree. The trees definitely are not nearly as scary as the Medusas, so the fact that they're leaning into trees is probably good for us, because like in general, I think with the MirrorScam, you want to move into monsters. You want to find Oni tyrants to keep like getting value from your summons, just in case your Medusa attack order doesn't go well, because you want to get some stats onto them. If they don't have stats on them, then they just get attacked into super poorly. So if you can't get like an Oni tyrant to put some stats, or like a singing sword or something, and maybe a pumpkin to continue the summons up front afterwards, then yeah, if you just get one bad combat of or just like bad attack order, then yeah, Mirror Medusas just kind of, they can really fall flat. We did, okay, I neglected to mention at the time, but we did just turn we just got a golden good boy. And we've got a few good characters on board, so that's a pretty big upgrade. And yeah, they get their first Medusa attack, but we attack into their second Medusa, and then attack into their Ashwood. So they get they get two Medusa attacks out of their Mirror Medusa comp here, which is not nearly enough. And again, their backline is just like there are some stats back there, but their front line just it's just not good enough to protect their backline. And yeah, their backline doesn't supplement their front line nearly well enough, and yeah, we take down MirrorScam like pretty easily, to be honest. Like, this is not like the wildest hat ball comp you've ever seen. It's good. We definitely got there. We got a lot of stats, but in general, like I'm sure you've seen a lot stronger. And yeah, the Mirror Medusa comp usually should do a lot better than that. But yeah, that just goes to show that you have to supplement those Mirror Medusas with some kind of stats or some other backup plan. And yeah, the trees just didn't get it done for them. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed this. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel, and I really appreciate it. Leaving a like lets YouTube know that it should recommend my content to more people, and I would very much appreciate that. And yeah, I think that's it for today. So I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.